श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So yesterday we saw the sixth shloka. Now the introduction to the seventh shloka is beginning. No. Yadgatva Nanivartante. This is a very important introduction actually to the seventh shloka and for Vedanta also. No. Yadgatva Nanivartante iti uktam yadi uktam iti uktam. Yadi gachanti tarhi avartante eva swargavat. Atha na avartante tarhi na gachanti. So what you said is Yadgatva Nanivartante. After going where they don't come back. But the reality is, if they go, yadi gachanti, tarhi avartante eva. They will definitely come back. They have to definitely come back. Like heaven, example. Acha na avartante. Therefore, if you want to stick to the point of they don't come back, then you have to say they don't even go. Na gachanti eva. They don't go also. If they go, they have to come back. If they don't go, they come back, they don't go. That is the point. Tena gatva iti na nivartante iti cha paraspara viruddham. Therefore, saying that they also go and they also don't come back is contradictory to each other. It is impossible. Why? I'll explain. Sarve kshayanta nisayaha patanantah samuchrayaha sanyoga viprayogantaha maranantam hi jeevitam. Very beautiful shloka this is. Sarve kshayantaha nichayaha patanantaha samuchrayaha sanyogaha viprayogantaha maranantam hi jeevitam. See, whatever you see here in this world, sarve kshayanta nichayaha, whatever you have collected, nichayaha, whatever is your collection, whatever is your possession, kshayanta sarve, they all come to an end. Okay, then padananta samuchrayaha, how much ever you go high, you have to come down. Reverse also is the inverse also is right. How much ever low you go, you have to climb up also. Sanyogaha viprayogantaha. We are only talking about the worldly state. Sanyogaha viprayogantaha. Whatever is association, one point or other, they have to disassociate, separate. Maranantam hi jeevitam, and the life ends with death. So this is how the world is. Iti hi shastre lokecha prasiddham. This is very famous in world and as well as in Shastra. Anatma prapti hi punaravarti paryavasanaha natu atma prapti riti chet. No. The Vedanti interludes. He says, no. You didn't get the point right. Only when you gain things which are non-self, anatma prapti hi punaravarti vasa. Punaravarti paryavasanaha. Only that which is non-self which you gain, only when you gain something which is non-self, you have to come back. The opposite is right for that. To atma prapti, but not for the gain of self. If you gain self, you don't come back. That is what is the point. If you say so, if you Vedanti say so, we say no. Nah, it's not so. Why? He's bringing, this is a very important Shruti, because this is one Shruti statement which one whole lineage of Vedanta and Vedantic students are stuck up with. There is a teaching called Holenarsempur teaching. There was a Swami called Satchidanandendra Saraswati. This Swami uses this and misinterprets Vedanta. I am mincing no words. He misinterprets Vedanta. So, Sushupto, सता सौम्य तदा संपन्नो भवति सुमपीतो भवति. That's the statement there. Sata saumya tada sampanno bhavati. At that point of time in the deep sleep, he will be one with Brahman. Fine. Iti shruti pratipaditayaha. The shruti establishes this. He will be one with Brahman. He as though loses himself. Api atma praptehe. Shruti establishes he gains oneness with the self. Right? Still, punaravritti paryanta darshanat, he comes back to the world. He comes back to the samsara. It is seen. Though he is one with the self, he comes back to the samsara. Now, this should be made clear. We say, in deep sleep, he goes there and na kinchid avedisham sukhamaham aspapsam. I slept very peacefully. I enjoyed happiness. I didn't know anything. That I didn't know. Sukhamaham aspapsam is the nature of self, and I didn't know anything is the nature of ignorance. We say that the ignorance also exists in the subtle form. So that they miss. So, anyat otherwise, sushuptasya muktatvena punarutthanam na syat. Otherwise, a person who is asleep should never come back to the world. He should not wake up. What will happen? Let us imagine if we become liberated while we go to sleep, then no one will want to sleep. Actually, no one will want to sleep. We'll be like that Tom and Jerry cat putting some stick so that the eyelids don't close. So that is a very dangerous situation for us. Tasmad, therefore, Atma Prapto Gatva iti Navapadyate. Therefore, Atma Prapto, if you gain self, then there, the Gatva, if you say you gain self, then the usage of gaining, he goes, that is not right. The usage of he goes there is not proper. Tasya Aupacharikatve. No, that is just for say namesake. If you say, then Anivrittir Naupadyate. If you say it is just for namesake, we are just saying going means it's not just really going actually, If you say that, then there is another issue. The issue is he should not, there is no possibility that he will not come back. He should definitely come back. So he will not come back is not logical. Whichever way, this going and not coming back, both they are not logical. Evam prapte brumaha. In this situation, we Vedanti answer you. This is the Vedanti's answer, and just make sure that you listen to this properly and hear this properly and retain this properly. Okay? Gantuhu jivasya gantavya brahma abhinnatvad gatva iti aupacharikam. We are just for us the goer jiva and gantavya, the one which needs to be gained, that place, that state is a Brahman. They are both non-dual. They are identical. We accept the jiva is Brahman. Therefore, that going is a aupacharikam. Gatva, after going, that is just for namesake. We don't really say he goes, because he is the individual self and the absolute self are not different from each other. They are identical. Whether you understand, you don't understand, whether you know, you don't know, does not really matter. It does not change anything. Not just in deep sleep. Even in the waking state, you are the self. Okay? So, ajnana matra vyavahitasya tasya jnana matrene prapti vyapadeshat. So, just because of his ignorance, only the ignorance is what is separating him from that absolute self. Once the ignorance is removed through the knowledge, nothing can remove the ignorance. Only knowledge can remove the ignorance. Once the ignorance is removed through the knowledge, then that is what is gaining. Brahmavida apnoti param. Brahmavida apnoti param. Shruti says Brahmavida apnoti param. Apalru prapane. He gains. There we understand the gaining to be knowledge. He understands. Okay? Yadi Brahmanah prativimbo jivaha. Tada yatha jala pratibimbita suryasya jala जलापाये बिंबभूतपर सूर्यगमनं ततः अनावृत्तिश्च. See, he is bringing two vadas. One is a bimba pratibimba vada, the other is a avachinna avacheda vada. Now first he is explaining it through the bimba pratibimba vada. See, the spot is filled with water. There is sun. That sun reflects on the water. Okay. Now I throw the water. There is no water. What happened to the reflection? The reflection merged with the reflected. Whatever was reflecting on that, that sun, this reflection merged with that original, the sun. So that is what is said here. Brahmanah pratibimbo jiva yada. If we accept the jiva is a reflection of that Brahman, then tada yatha jalapratibimbita suryasya, like that. Now that is the exemplified. Now we come to the example, like the reflection of sun in the on the water surface. Jalapaye bimbabhuta surya. When the water is removed, that reflection merges with the sun. Tatha anavritischa, and it doesn't come back from there. It merges in that. Absolutely. So, or if you accept, you want to accept the avachinna avachedavada, he is bringing that also. Yedicha buddhi avachinnam brahmabhago jivaha. Tada. Yatha ghatakashasya ghatapaye mahakasham pratigamanam tato anavritischa. तथा जीवस्य so यदि बुद्ध्यवच्छिन्न means अंतःकरणावच्छिन्न चैतन्यम, ब्रह्मभागः means चैतन्यम, अंतःकरणावच्छिन्न चैतन्यम is जीवा, like यथा घटाकाशस्य, घटावच्छिन्न आकाशा is घटाकाशा, the akasha, the space, ether limited by the. Now this is a different example. I am bringing the pot, but this pot is for the embodiment. The pot is the embodiment which is limiting the space. The space inside this pot is limiting itself from the external space. Okay. Now, when I break this pot, the space inside merges with the main space, the big space, the original space. So, and it doesn't come back from there. Similarly, tatha jivasya upadhi apaye. So, this is embodiment. When this embodiment is embodiment. When this embodiment is removed, the space merges in the main space. Similarly, this body sense organ complex is embodiment. When this gets destroyed, distance, removed, then nirupadhi swarupa gamanam. He merges with the unembodied self, non-embodied self. Tataha anavritischa, and he doesn't come back from there. Iti upacharad uchyate. This is what is said. He does not come back is just for namesake, because there is no difference between the main space and this pot space, or the reflected sun and the reflection in the water, on the surface of water. एकस्वरूपत्वाद् भेदभ्रमस्य च उपाधि निवृत्त्या निवृत्तेः. एकस्वरूपत्वाद् भेदभ्रमस्य, whether the knowledge of duality with respect to the spot space or the space, or the absolute self with the individual self because of the embodiment of body sense organ complex. Any kind of duality is all similar. So, upadhi nivritya, once you remove the embodiment, that duality gets removed. The erroneous duality gets removed. Sushuptautu. So, he is bringing the example. Sushuptautu. That is what he said. Sata somya tada sampanno bhavati somapito bhavati. That shruti we are bringing in again. Sushuptautu. In the deep sleep, ajnane swakarane bhavana karma purva prajna sahitasya antakaranasya jiyopadhehe sukshma rupena avasthanat. The antakarana, which is endowed with prajna, consciousness, which is endowed with karma and bhavana. The mind is something which can visualize. The mind is which can involve you in karma, and the mind is which is associated with consciousness. Okay, that is the limiting, that mind becomes the limiting factor, right? So now that is the jiva upadhi, that is the embodiment of the jiva. Now that swakarane ajnane sukshma rupena avasthanat, it merges, it stays in a subtle form in its cause. The mind's cause is what? The ignorance. It merges in the ignorance and stays there in a subtle form. ततः एव अज्ञानात् पुनरुद्भवः संभवति. Therefore, since it stays there in the seed form, from that place it can definitely come back, because there is seed always. Now ज्ञानाद् अज्ञान निवृत्तौ तु कारणाभावात् कुत्य कार्योदयः. There is no cause here. When the through the knowledge, if you have removed the ignorance, then since there is no cause, there can be no effect. Therefore syad ajnana prabhavatvat antakarana upadina, because the antakarana etc embodiment is caused by the ignorance. When the ignorance does not exist, where can the brahman, the mind etc embodiment be there? Tasma, therefore jivasya aham brahmasmi iti vedanta vakya janya, it's one word, vedanta vakya janya sakshatkarat aham na brahmeti ajnana nivrittihi gatva iti uchyate. So when we say gatva, after going, what we mean is the jiva through the Vedantic statement aham brahmasmi, when he gains the immediate knowledge, sakshatkara, when he gets the immediate knowledge, what happens is his erroneous knowledge of I am not the self, aham na brahma, that is removed. That is what we say as gatva. And na nivartate, what does that mean? Nivartasya cha anadi ajnanasya punarutsana bhavena tat karya samsara bhavo na nivartanti tuchyate. Once the ignorance is removed, the whole creation is the effect of ignorance. That effect also, when the cause does not exist, the effect does not exist too. That is what is said as na nivartanti, it does not come back. Iti uchyate iti na kopi virodha. Therefore there is no contradiction here. This is pure Vedanta. Now, next paragraph, we are going to explain what is this chapter all about. In the next 5 slokas, or what is this chapter all about? That's the simple idea. Okay, jivasya tu paramarthikam swarupam brahma eva iti asakrit aveditam. We have repeated again and again, asakrit aveditam. We have said again and again, multiple times, that the inherent nature of jiva is the absolute self. Tadeta sarvam pratipadyate uttarena granthena. This is what is going to be again established in the upcoming text. Tatra, first there, jivasya brahma rupatvat ajnana nivritya tat swarupam praptasya tato na pratyuti iti pratipadyate mama evamshi iti shlokarthena. With the a half portion of shloka mame vamsho jiva loke jiva bhutas sanatana, the next shloka, jivasya brahma rupatvat, since the jiva is of the nature of brahman inherently, ajnana nivritya tat swarupam praptasya, through the negation of ignorance, one who has gained, one which the jiva which has gained the absolute self, the inherent nature, na tato prachyati, does not fall from there, is said in the next shloka, mame vamsha jiva loke. Okay, सुषुप्तो तु सर्वकार्य संस्कार सहित अज्ञान सत्वात् ततः पुनः संसारो जीवस्येति मनःषष्ठानीति श्लोकार्थेन प्रतिपाद्यते. मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति. The next half shloka, with that in the deep sleep the ignorance exists with the mind which is embodied, which is associated with all the karmas. The mind which is in association with all the karmas, that mind is existing. The ignorance retains that mind in subtle form, and that ignorance exists in the deep sleep. Therefore tataha punah samsaro jivasyati, from there coming back to the world is a logical, that is going to be said. Okay, manasasthaniti tataha, thereafter Tasya vastuto asamsarinopi. Though the inherent nature of the jiva is absolute self, he is not samsari. Maya samsaram praptasya. Because of the illusion, because of the erroneous knowledge, because of the ignorance, he has gained as though the samsara. Now, mandamatibihi, who have gained? Dullard, you. The mandamati. Who is mandamati? The dullard, the dull wit, the one who has identified himself or herself with the body sense organ complex. That person, dehat adatya pratipannasya, the one who has associated himself or herself with the body sense organ complex. That person, pratipattasya, dehat vyatiriktah pratipadyate. This next shloka establishes that he is that self which you think to be identified with the body sense organ complex is not identified with it. It is different from the body sense organ complex. Shariram ityadina shlokartine. Shariram yadavapnoti. In that half shloka, it is established. Shrotram chakshur ityadina. Shrotram chakshusparshanam cha. In this shloka, यथायथम स्व विषेन्द्रियाणां प्रवर्तकस्य तस्य तेभ्यो व्यतिरिक्तः प्रतिपद्यते. See, the sense organ, shrotra, etc., the ear, etc., involve themselves in their respective sense objects. Who is guiding them to be involved only with them? That guiding principle, the self, is different from the one which is guided, the sense organs. That is established. एवं देहेन्द्रियादि विलक्षणम उत्क्रांत्यादि समये स्वात्म रूपत्वात् किमिति सर्वे न पश्यन्ति इति आशंकायां विषय विक्षिप्त चित्ताः दर्शन योग्यमपि तं न पश्यन्ति इति उत्तरमुच्यते. नाउ ही सेज एवं, इफ दिस इज सो, देहेन्द्रियादि विलक्षणम उत्क्रांत्यादि समये. See, during the death, I differentiate myself from the body sense organ complex. I leave from the body sense organ complex. I disassociate myself from that. At that point of time, swatma surupatvat, he remains as the self. When he does not identify himself with the body sense organ complex, he remains as a self. Now, why don't they, when you separate the body sense organ complex, only that remains as the self? Why don't people not understand this? That is because Vishaya Vikshipta Chitta, people's mind is disturbed, Vikshipta, disturbed, troubled, because of what? The attachment to the objects. Vishaya Vikshipta. Vishaya, sense objects. Vikshipta, disturbed. Chitta, the mind. The mind is completely disturbed because of the association with the sense objects. Therefore, Darshana Yogyam Apitam, though it is perceived, that is, it is in front of their eyes, tamna pashyanti, they don't see that. Iti uttram uchyate, the answer to that is said there with utkramantam ityadina shlokena. Utkramantam sitam vape gunjanam va gunanvitam. With that shloka it will be established. Now, tam jnana chakshusha pashyanti iti vivrutam yatanto yogina iti shlokarthina. Pashyanti jnana chakshusha, that is established, explained in the yatanto yoginas chainam pashyantyatman nyavasthitam, that shloka. Okay, vimudaha nanu pashyanti, the idiots don't see that. That is explained vivurtam ityadi vivurtam iti yet vivurtam yatantopi shlokena. Yatantopi kaunteya, like that shloka, in that shloka it is established. It is shlokarthina. Panchanam shlokanam. Yatanto yoginaschainam. Yatantopi akritatmanah. Yatantopi akritatmanah. The second line. So with that it is established. So this is the gist of the next 5 shlokas. Idanim aksharani vyakhyasanam. Gist is given. Now every character or every word is explained here. Mamaiva amsho jivaloke. Mamaiva amshaha jivaloke. This is a very important shloka, because only because of this shloka, misinterpreting this shloka, people miss the whole view of Vedanta. Okay, be careful. Mama eva amshaha jivaloke. Mamaivamsho jivaloke. Mamaivamsho jivaloke. ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः विसर्ग it becomes is जीवभूतः सनातनः जीवभूतः सनातनः जीवभूतः सनातनः ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मन षष्ठानि इंद्रियाणि मनःषष्ठानि मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि 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 प्रकृति स्थानि कर्षति प्रकृति स्थानि कर्षति प्रकृति स्थानि कर्षति प्रकृति स्थानि कर्षति मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति from the beginning ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति मम एव अंशः जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति सनातनः मम एव the eternal my own inherent nature the jiva bhutah in the jivas in the world of mortals this word mama eva amshah my part the part of me is this world if you interpret it in that way then a part of Ishvara transforms into the world. That is the meaning you get. That means a part of Ishvara undergoes transformation. Means Ishvara undergoes transformation. Means Ishvara is Anitya. Whether in that place where Ishvara has transformed, that is not Ishvara. Whether Ishvara transforms himself partially or completely, he loses to be the Ishvara. Okay, so mamaiva eva amshah jivabhutah the jiva are as though amsha that is what you have to understand as though part they are not really part they are as though a part of me who is sanatana who is eternal manasasthani indriyani mind along with the 5 sense organs being the 6th sense organ mind prakriti sthani karshati brings the jiva back to the prakriti back to the from the ignorance from that ignorance from that state it makes it aids him to be established prakriti sthani it aids him to be established in the ignorance because of his karma the karma does not leave you you cannot go on sleeping like Kumbhakarna or that sleeping beauty you have to get up. So because our karmas won't let us to sleep so that many of them who have children they would have understood that mamaiva mama eva means paramatmana eva of me means me the absolute self amshah part what part of self niramshasyapi though I am without any parts though I am without any limbs, as though limbs, Maya kalpita. The limb is something which is imagined through the Maya. Suryasya jale nabhasya cha ghate. We gave two examples how it is imagined, like the reflection of sun in the water or the limitation of space by the pot. Mrisha bhedavan amshaha. So this duality is a illusory. That kind of amsha iva amshaha, that kind of limb as though limb. The limb is as though a limb. It is not really a limb. Jiva loke samsari. In this world, in this samsara. Such a pranadharana upadhina jiva bhutaha. Jiva, the root word jiva means pranadharani. To be associated with the prana, one who holds the prana is jiva. Now, because he is associated with the embodiment which holds the prana, that jiva bhuta, that jiva, karta, bhokta, samsari iti mrishaiva prasiddhim upagata, gains this infamous state. Infamous state of water being the doer, the experiencer, and samsari, etc. Sanatana Nitya. Who has gained this infamous state? This eternal self, which is not never associated with this state of being doer, experiencer, or being a samsari. Upadi parichedo api vastutaha paramatma surupatva. Because though the limiting is there, the limitations are there, the embodiments are there, he is not really limited or embodied. He is always absolute self, whether with or without the embodiment. He is always the absolute self. He remains the self. Atah, therefore, jnana ajnana nivritya swaswarupam brahma prapya tadona nivartante iti uktam. Therefore, gaining through removing the ignorance through the knowledge, he stays as the self. He remains as the self. Therefore, he does not come back. That whatever is said is right. There is no contradiction here. Evam bhutopi. Though he may be so, Shushuptat katham avartatitya. How does he come back from the deep sleep? I told you the example. That we'll explain. Manaha. Manaha. Sashtam yesham tani. Manaha, which is the sixth. We explained in Vedanta Paribhasha. If you have studied Vedanta Paribhasha, in Vedanta Paribhasha, we explained that the mind is as though a sixth sense organ. Mind is not a sense organ. Mind we don't accept as sense organ. But Manasashtanindriyani, Bhagavan says mind is the sixth sense organ. That is like saying the Mahabharata is the fifth Veda. Mahabharata is written by Vyasa and Vedas are Apurusheya Vakyam. Vedas are statements which are not written by a person, created by a person. And Mahabharata is very clearly known that it is written by Vyasa. It cannot be. But for namesake, it is also equated with Vedas. Or we give another example. Yanjamana Panchama Ida Bhakshya. Yajamana can partake the Ida, the Yajna Bhaga, as the fifth Ritvik. Now, there, though it is only specified for the Ritviks, the people who perform the yaga for the Yajamana, for the master, but still, in them, there are four of them. Among them, Yajamana is also counted as a Ritvik, though he is not Ritvik. Similarly, this mind, though is not a sense organ, it is as though referred to as a sense organ here. Okay? Shrotras. What are the sense organs we are talking about? The knowledge sense organs. Shrotra, Tvak, Chakshuhu, Rasana, Grhana, Akhyani, Panchendriyani. The sense organ of hearing, the sense organ of touch, the sense organ of vision, the sense organ of taste, the sense organ of smell, olfactory. So these are the sense organs, the five sense organs. Why do you call it Indriya? Indrasya Atmanaha Vishayopalabdhi Karanataya Lingani. It is the means for the Indra, the Atma, to enjoy the sense objects. Therefore, it is called as Indriya. Indra means self. Okay, here Indra means self. Indra is the ruler of heaven. But here Indra means self. Jagrat Swapna Bhoga Janaka Karmakshaye Prakritisthani. When one loses the karmas for the waking and deep dream state, not deep state, Jagrat Swapna Bhoga Janaka Karmakshaye, when the karmas which are the means for experiencing the world in the waking state and the world in the dream state, when that gets experienced for that day, Prakritisthani, he remains in the Prakriti. He remains in the ignorance. Prakritau Ajnane. Prakriti means Ajnana. Sukshma Rupena Sthitani. He remains in the subtle form. That is why earlier we say Prakritim Yanti Bhutani Nigram Kim Karishyati. The beings stay in the Prakriti. What will the control do? So, therefore, Prakritisthani. Prakriti, the ignorance. Ignorance takes care of their Prakriti is Sattva, Rajas, Tarma, Tamogana. That they are basically ignorance. Okay? Ignorance is Trigunatmika. Trigunatmika Maya. Okay? So, Prakrito Ajnani. Sukshma Rupenistani. In that deep sleep, their ignorance exists in deep, in subtle form. Punaha Jagrat Bhoga Karma Janaka Karma Ude. When the karmas arise, when the karmas begin to give result for the experience in the waking state, bhogartham karshati. For the experience of those karmas, karshati, akarshati, he brings in, it attracts him and pulls him out. Kurmo anganiva. Prakritehe ajnanat akarshati. Like the sense, the limbs of the tortoise. The tortoise pulls all its limb, including the head, inside the shell. But it cannot remain there in the shell. It has to come out and eat or things like that. So it will come out like that. These sense organs which have merged in the ignorance, they'll come out, they'll be pulled out because of the karmas. Akarshati. Vishaya Grahana Yogyataya Avirbhavat Bhaviti Ityut. Meaning it makes him capable of, it doesn't just what? No, it makes him capable of experiencing that result of that karma. Ataha, therefore, jnanat ajnana nivritto ajnanad avrittir na anuvanna iti. So therefore, jnanad anavritto api ajnanat. So though one will not come back from the knowledge after the knowledge dawns, in the state of ignorance, he will come back. There is no contradiction here. There is no illogic here. Only in the state of ignorance, he will come back. If the state of knowledge arises, then there is no coming back. Kasmin kale karshati ityachute. When will he be pulled out? That is said. Shariram yed avapnoti. Shariram yed avapnoti. Shariram yed avapnoti. Shariram yed avapnoti. Yaccha api utkramati Ishvaraha. Yacchapi utkramati. Yacchapyutkramati Ishvaraha. Yacchapyutkramati Ishvaraha. Yacchapi utkramata. Yat cha api. Yaccha api. Yaccha api. Yaccha api. Akasavarna dirgha. Ikara ukara. Iko enachi. Yacchapyutkramatiishvara. Again akasana. Yacchapyutkramatiishvaraha. Yacchapyutkramatiishvaraha. Shariram yadavapnoti. Yacchapyutkramatiishvaraha. Shariram yadavapnoti. Yacchapyutkramatiishvaraha. Then, grihitva etani sanyati. Grihitvaitani sanyati. गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धान् इव आश्रयात् वायुर्गन्धानिवाश्रया आशयात् वायुर्गन्धानिवाशयात् वायुर्गन्धानिवाशयात् गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानिवाशयात् गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानिवाशयात्. Okay, chant again. शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानिवाशयात्. शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानिवाशयात्. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति.